They called him America's Dad. For decades, Bill Cosby was more than a comedian, more than a television icon. He was a symbol of warmth, family, and wholesome entertainment, trusted by millions, especially in Black America, as someone who'd broken barriers with dignity. From The Cosby Show to comedy specials, from activism to philanthropy, his public image was impeccable. But beneath that surface, dark allegations lurked. And eventually, justice caught up. It started quietly. For years, whispers. Women spoke of sexual misconduct, drugging, assault, stories that rarely stuck in headlines. Cosby denied wrongdoing, his defenders pointing to his community service, influence, and the good he'd done. But for survivors, the system moved slowly, hindered by his wealth and fame. The turning point came with Andrea Constand. In 2004, the Temple University basketball operations director accused Cosby of assaulting her at his home after he gave her pills she thought were herbal. She said she became incapacitated, frozen, unable to fight back. A 2005 civil suit ended with a settlement and non-disclosure agreement, shielding Cosby from immediate fallout. For nearly a decade, it seemed over. But in 2014, the case exploded back. An unsealed deposition revealed Cosby had admitted to obtaining quaaludes to use on women he wanted sex with. The revelation broke open decades of rumor, and dozens of women came forward. The cultural moment had shifted. The #MeToo movement now had a symbol, an icon once beyond reproach. Networks cut ties, specials were shelved, and his once untouchable reputation cracked. In 2015, prosecutors filed criminal charges for aggravated indecent assault based on Constand's claims. His first trial in 2017 ended in mistrial when the jury deadlocked, but prosecutors pressed on. In 2018, the retrial allowed more women to testify about eerily similar assaults. Encounters framed as career help, pills, then incapacitation and violation. Janice Dickinson and others spoke of decades of silence, guilt, and shame. Cosby's lawyers argued encounters were consensual or misremembered, but the jury wasn't convinced. On April 26, 2018, Cosby was found guilty on 3 counts. The verdict was historic, proof that celebrity no longer guaranteed protection. That September, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, declared a sexually violent predator, and placed on lifetime sex offender registry. Judge Stephen O'Neill said simply, "It is time for justice." Cosby's fall was swift. Awards rescinded, honors revoked, reruns pulled, projects canceled. America's Dad was erased from public trust. Many felt betrayed, not only by his actions but by the collapse of values his show once represented. Yet the story continued. In 2019, Cosby's lawyers appealed, arguing that a previous district attorney, Bruce Castor, had promised no criminal prosecution, influencing Constand's testimony in the civil case. They said Cosby's Fifth Amendment rights were compromised. In June 2021, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court agreed. It ruled that because Cosby testified under the belief he couldn't be criminally charged, the trial was legally flawed. His conviction was overturned, and he was released. The court did not declare him innocent, only that the process had violated his rights. Public reaction was split, outrage from survivors and their supporters, relief from those focused on constitutional law. Meanwhile, survivors' voices grew louder. Their accounts shared themes of betrayal, shame, and power imbalance. Many said they'd stayed silent out of fear, of not being believed, of legal hurdles like statutes of limitations, of Cosby's influence. For them, even the partial legal victories mattered. They showed that the system could finally hold the powerful accountable. Civil suits followed. In 2022, a California jury ruled for Judy Huth, who said Cosby assaulted her in 1975 at age 16. The jury awarded damages, underscoring that even beyond criminal law, his image had permanently fractured. Cosby's defense leaned on age, health, blindness, and memory gaps. His lawyers argued it was unfair to defend against decades-old claims. But societal expectations had shifted. Victims' testimonies were no longer brushed aside. Institutions, networks, and the public began demanding accountability. As Cosby's image crumbled, America wrestled with contradictions. How could a man who championed family values commit such private harm? How could philanthropy and trailblazing coexist with exploitation? His legacy became tangled, a pioneer in breaking racial barriers, yet accused by dozens of predatory acts. For many in black communities, the fall was deeply painful. Cosby had been a symbol of pride, opening doors in television and donating millions to education. Some defended him, others felt betrayed. Many struggled to reconcile his public good with private accusations. The reckoning was not just legal, but cultural and spiritual. By 2022, when the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear appeals, the criminal chapter closed. But the conversation continued. Survivors pushed for broader change, shorter statutes of limitation, greater belief in women's testimonies, and stronger accountability for powerful men. Cosby's legacy is now a knot of contradictions. He was the man who made generations laugh, who broke racial barriers in entertainment, but also one accused by dozens, convicted, then freed on technicality. His downfall wasn't sudden. It was decades in the making, built on whispers finally given voice. For many, his case symbolized the evolution of justice, how society began to believe survivors, how power no longer guaranteed silence. The story remains unfinished. The debates, the wounds, the cultural shifts continue. But one truth endures. Fame can protect for years, but it cannot shield forever from accountability. And in that perhaps lies the lasting lesson of Bill Cosby's rise and fall. If you found this story eye-opening and want to follow how survivors continue to seek justice, how society reckons with power and celebrity, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Justice, after all, is a long road. And when someone once called America's dad faces it, it reshapes what we believe is possible.